Well, welcome Wednesday to you all. Moments after 6 bells, I hear the sound of abundant rain. Bring it. We're looking for that precipitation. We're looking for that growth in all of our yards to grab those edibles that I know we're all planted, of course, by Gardens by Gabriel. Check them out at gardensbygabriel.com. First step to your dream garden. I'm telling you, I'm picking persimmons. Fuyu persimmons, that is, those ones that crunch like an apple. I'm eating pomegranates that are just fantastic. Figs to die for. The food is great. Get Gardens by Gabriel to help you plant this stuff and, eat wonderfully here on the Central Coast. Folks, everything grows. Hey, as always, welcome to Living the Run. We're here each and every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. We run a show from 6 to 7. You can find us here at ESPN 1280 The Ticket. You can also find us online at livingtherun.com. Short and show tonight, Cal Poly basketball. It's one Wednesday game of the year is coming on tonight, so we will check out at 6:45. But great show still for you. Samantha Pruitt coming in. Haven't had Samantha in for a while. It's got to be probably close to a year. A lot going on in the life of Samantha Pruitt, our ex-couch potato blogger, your slow marathon director, and new race she just finished. We'll let her talk about that. A little ultra marathon at that 100-mile level for Samantha. She was also in Arizona this last weekend for that Ironman triathlon. Hey, let me get right to it. We got Thanksgiving next week, guys, and as always, a big topic for us is how do we get an edible, wonderful array of food that we can understand won't give us that kind of groggy rundown feeling and that inflammation that so oftentimes we feel from, number one, overeating, number two, eating the wrong stuff. So we are fortunate, as always, to have Virginia Merrim of Vert Foods. You know, Virginia, the thing I got to think right off the bat here is how do we avoid canned everything, boxed everything, and a processed turkey that's so full of preservatives it might last for the next decade. Certainly there's got to be better choices for us in the world of potatoes, in the world of greens, and the world of even pies. Take us through some just quick little options and some simple things somebody might be able to do this Thanksgiving to make that dinner more of an anti-inflammatory diet, one that benefits them rather than detracts from their health.
Absolutely. Thanksgiving is a beautiful time of the year to actually do what we are all trying to promote, which is whole, real food eating and living. That's sort of what Thanksgiving is all about. It's all about taking everything from the harvest and bringing it on the table to some delicious meals. The first clue I would give everybody is, A, don't be so worried and be a perfectionist about how good your meal is going to turn out. Instead, slow down a little bit and enjoy the process. Really enjoy the making of the food. Enjoy going out into your garden or going to the farmer's market and picking what's in season. The first clue for anything to get away from canned products is squash. A lot of stuff is made with squash for the Thanksgiving dinner. Butternut squash, pumpkin, all those items. The quickest way to roast your squash is keep it whole. Keep it whole, stick it in the oven at 350. The second that skin gets shiny, pull it out with some pot holders and let it finish steaming on your countertop. Then cut it gently open with a knife. It's like butter. It's so easy. And you scoop out the insides. I see too many people trying to cut that squash with a sharp knife when it's still hard. It's dangerous, and it just doesn't make any sense. So that's a very easy way, and you can do all your squash at the exact same time. Put all of them in there, roast them, pull them out, and you'll be ready to have fresh, wholesome squash in your cooking.
Hey, varieties are endless on those squash, huh, Virginia? We've been hitting a whole bunch of different types. What's out there right now? What are you using to get creative with the
Well, I also want to tell people that the word pumpkin actually just means squash. So when you make pumpkin pie, don't feel like you have to use a certain type of pumpkin. That's just a marketing scheme. You can use any type of pumpkin. You can actually use butternut squash to make your pumpkin pie. Right now, spaghetti squash is huge. Butternut squash is huge, and acorn squash are all available and at inexpensive prices. I just picked some up from our farmers on Tuesday at the farmers market. They were 69 cents a pound. You can't beat that. And my last little thing is, everyone, today's the rain's falling. I think it's absolutely beautiful, but you hear this sort of stress that's underlying. The holidays are coming, and it's just stressful. And I was walking from the store with my daughter, and rain is pouring. And I'm thinking, oh, everything's going to get wet. And what does she do? She jumps in this huge puddle of water, laughing and giggling up a storm. To her, it was the most magnificent, amazing thing, whereas everybody else saw it as stress and just annoying. She was just having a blast in the water coming down. So we have to look at all things, including our meals, that way. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. It's not stress. It's magnificent and amazing, and it's there to nourish us.
Hey, I'm with you there. And I tell you, we started the day the same way, got in to see just a great rainbow on the way to school, and just kind of the majesty of looking at the way my youngest son just kind of took that thing in. And as we walked from the car to the preschool, his eyes never left that rainbow. Sometimes it's stopping and really, really just reflecting on where we are, how lucky we are. Hey, I had to ask you this. I had something come into the clinic today, and it just it's a bizarre thing, and I don't know where Vert Foods is on this in the Thanksgiving world, and I know you're out there trying to educate. And just to kind of give a sense of how far off we are, I had a lady say today, she says, yes, somebody told me that they were going to be making gluten-free potatoes.
Oh, good.
I'm kind of thinking, when did the gluten get into the potatoes?
To begin with. Yes. So just to remind you, just because it says gluten-free doesn't mean it's good for you. I had the same exact email inquiry over stuffing. Thank goodness they now have gluten-free stuffing. And my response was, how about you just take the bread out and use roasted Brussels sprouts and use all your same ingredients. And not only do you have a magnificently delicious stuffing or filler, because all stuffing is there for is to keep your turkey moist. That's the only reason why it ever existed. You put you put it inside the turkey, and then you put it under your turkey when it's setting, what we call it when you let this turkey sit out for 20 minutes, and it absorbs all the moisture from what's underneath it and makes the turkey moist. That's what stuffing was used for. So use Brussels sprouts. They're high in vitamin C, high in vitamin D, and they are naturally gluten-free without all the crap and the marketing scheme. And it's cheaper, too.
So glad you mentioned that. The Brussels sprout dishes we've been having lately are just off the hook. Brussels sprouts are fantastic right now. So many different creative things you can do with them. Good mention. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you. Thanks for all those great tips. And
absolutely. We have lots to be thankful for, and I've got a great menu to give people inspiration up on my website right now. So contact me. I'm there if you have trouble with your turkey. I'm not quite the butterball line, but I can give you definitely some tips.
VertFoods.com, guys. VertFoods.com. Happy Thanksgiving, Virginia. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Good stuff as always from Virginia. It's amazing because we can get so easily talked in to things that just simply don't make sense. Guys, we grow potatoes and they don't have gluten. And the only way you're going to run into a gluten-based product with potatoes is to eat potatoes out of a box, out of a can, some way that is completely not natural. And so use these options. Hey, use Virginia. She's an educator. She will go to houses. You can go to her. She is looking to teach, not just to make food for people, but to enable and to teach so that you can do those same things in the kitchen. And again, not only eat healthier, but actually eat very affordably. I had this conversation I thought it was worth talking about with a patient the other day, and the topic is the affordability, and we just happen to be talking about meat in price per pound. And so oftentimes we hear this a lot is I can't afford that wild-caught salmon. I can't afford that organic chicken. I can't afford that organic meat of whatever kind it might be. And the other way to look at that whole thing is to say maybe you can't afford not to eat that organic product. Because one of the things that we're seeing in the non-organic products is we're seeing a high toxicity. And the toxicity tends to continue to build up. And it continues to build up over time, and it starts to wreak massive havoc on folks. And so we're seeing all kinds of issues, whether it be heart disease, whether it be blood sugar dysregulation, whether it be thyroid issues, whether it be immune system issues. The list goes on. And so much of it is because of high levels of toxicity. We know this. It's out there. This is not new news. And so I kind of say, look, if you've got $20 to spend on meat, say, for a family of 4 or a family of 6 or whatever your budget says, buy the higher quality product, just buy less. I've been doing this forever. My family does this. we eat less, which we know is the better thing to do anyway. We joked about this. I joked about this with these guys, Alex and Bobby, just a couple weeks ago. They get the Slow Late Show coming on tonight. Different time again, guys, tonight. You're listening to Living the Run right now. We'll be off at 6:45. Samantha Pruitt in about 5 minutes here on the show. And the CJ Silas Show will be coming up after the Cal Poly basketball game. She's got Rodney Pete on. But look at whatever money you are allotting and go for the higher quality product and just eat less. And again, I was talking to Alex and Bobby, and we were talking about Chipotle a little bit. Man, when I lived in Texas, it was the first time I ever had a Chipotle burrito. I'm telling you right now, that thing's 3 times as big as it is here in San Luis Obispo. And one of the things that people run into the problem is that then they come out to San Luis Obispo from coming from Texas, and they'll sit and go, oh, man, I got gypped. I went in, I bought the $6 burrito. It's 1/3 the size. I got gypped. No, actually, you didn't. The burrito coming from Texas is too big. You overgorge yourself, you overindulge, and actually you create inflammation. And we're seeing inflammation all the time from overeating. And so what I would suggest to you is go and find the higher quality meat. Eat less. Get used to eating less. Take on more vegetables. Take on more of these recipes that Virginia's put out there that we got on Vert Foods that we're putting on livingtherun.com. Use those recipes. Fill up on those. Get 3 or 4 side dishes that involve lots of vegetables. Minimal grain, but if you get the grains, you go with the non-processed grains, the non-GMO grains, the quinoas, the millets, the amaranth, and use those in substitute for needing to eat a half a pound of meat or a pound of meat. Start to scale it back. Don't scale back the quality, scale back the quantity. Always, always, always err on the side of higher quality, not higher quantity. When you do that, it's one of the simplest tips anybody can do. And when you do that, you stay within your budget and you create a health system that has a chance for great longevity and a higher probability of not suffering from chronic disease. Simple stuff. Change is difficult, I get. And we all have to deal with it. I remember being in college. I remember eating large amounts of food at a time, hitting up TA's burritos, mixing in a Jamba Juice at the same time, and 2 hours later, gorging again. But it was overindulging, and you need to learn to scale back and need to learn that our energy systems don't do well with massive overconsumption of food, and especially when we get into these large, large volumes of meat. They lead to chronic disease. So grab the organic product, spend a little bit more, get over the price tag, spend a little bit more per pound, that is, get over the price tag, still spend the same amount that's in your budget, just eat a little bit less. Just eat a little bit less. Simple, simple rule going into Thanksgiving. You'll feel better, too. You won't feel like you got to take a nap 30 minutes later. Your digestive system won't feel like it's about to implode. Life will be better. Simple tips. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. Guys, Samantha Pruitt coming in next. I'm excited to have her in. Again, we haven't had her for a while. Ultra marathoner, slow marathon race director, ex-couch potato blog. Samantha Pruitt here on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. You're listening to Living the Run.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
Did you know that many people endure aches and pains in their feet, legs, and back, but few recognize the solution for some of the more common causes are as simple as a more supportive and comfortable insole? At Cadence Insoles, we understand the insole in your shoe provides the first line of support and comfort for your feet. Designed by physical therapists and recommended by podiatrists, Cadence Insoles provide the elusive combination of orthotic support with the shock-absorbing comfort of an insole. A local business? Visit cadenceinsoles.com for more information. Cadence Insoles. Support made comfortable.
Folks, When it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
We're back with Living the Run.
Hey, this segment brought to you by Art Cyclery, our newest sponsor. Check them out at artcyclery.com. Love these guys. You know, I was talking to a patient the other day, and they were having all kinds of back issues, and the reality was that their position on their bike was inappropriate. The bike wasn't set up right.
Yeah.
Guys, this is super common. Go over to Scott Smith. Go over to Eric Benson. Get with any of those guys over there at Arts.
Pro bike fitter, Barrett. He's
yeah,
awesome.
Get any of these guys, and they will hook it up. They will get it right. And you can get rid of sometimes some of the most simple musculoskeletal issues just by appropriating your bike to you. So check them out at artcyclery.com. Those guys are off of Suburban Road next to Tennis Warehouse, Runner's Warehouse, and the gang. Man, I'm stoked to have Samantha back in. What is it? Almost been a year.
Has it really?
I think, since you've been in here. And
feels good. Feels like home.
Feels like home. You know, I got to say, your shirt was so great. We were talking about it at the break. Every day is a training day.
Exactly.
And, you know, it is one of the questions that you get a lot, it sounds like, and I get it all the time. You know, what are you training for?
Yeah. And we said, life. How about you? Life.
Life.
Living a big life.
Living a big life. Hey, we do it every week now on this show. We started this a few months ago. We talk about a blood boiler. You know, I got it from an older guy. He's in his 70s. He's hiked every peak on every continent. He's done it multiple times. And he said, hey, you know what, Rex? The one thing I've always tried to do is every single day get my blood to boil. And whether that's for 5 minutes, whether that's for 4 hours, it doesn't really matter. I don't miss a day. And so every day is a training day. So blood boiler, what'd you do today?
What did I do today? So I'm recovering from a big race.
Yep.
So actually my big workout for the day, to be honest, was to jog my dog around the block a few times. Literally, that was my big workout today.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. I mean, you still get out there, you still move, but you're in a recovery mode.
Right.
You know, which is it's an awesome thing, and a lot of people just don't do that. We talked to Matt Russell last week. We'll talk about the Arizona Ironman Triathlon a little bit, but he's an interesting guy because he seems as though he needs a little bit less rest than a lot. He seems to compete in more Ironmans from a quantity perspective than most, and his quality goes up when he does it like that. And when he was competing in less, his quality was not as good, or his finishes weren't as good. But it's all a matter of
so unique.
Yeah, figuring it out for
very
yourself.
Unique to the athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the art of individualized training.
Right.
Exactly. And that's a big key. Hey, we got to talk about your race. I mean,
we do, don't we?
100 miler. You can read on your blog. What is it? What's the blog? I don't even have the website right off the top on. Is it off of? Is it xcouchpotatoblogspot.com?
No, it isn't. My blog is housed occasionally on livingtherun.com, but
we
also
got it there, but
on shareslow.com.
Shareslow.com. Okay.
Right.
Always
Which
a
is the
great
San Luis
blog.
Obispo
You're a great
site.
writer. I love
Thanks.
the yeah. You just
They're
kind of
usually
feel
colorful.
like you're colorful.
I got
to say at least.
stories.
100 miles up in Sacramento. Crazy stuff. You're part of the 100-mile
Crazy
club.
stuff. I am. I'm so damn
Under
proud.
30 hours. Like
Yeah.
you said, 13 minutes. You could have stopped for coffee.
17 minutes. That's what I
17
said.
minutes.
Why didn't I stop for a Starbucks along the way? What the hell? Yeah.
What was it like? I mean, you've never done
It was
anything that
amazing.
distance.
Yeah.
Take us through the ups and downs.
Right.
Because
so,
obviously you have ups and downs in
Absolutely.
those races.
Yeah, and the detailed stories in my blog, but the gist of it is that I'd never run more than 50 miles in my life, and I'd only done that a small handful of times. And I had done it recently, trying to qualify for Western States, spent 6 months training for that qualifying race, did not qualify for Western States, did not have my day that day. But I finished that race, and I moved forward, and I thought, This race for me, this 100-mile race, it's called Rio Del Lago. It's up in Northern California. Really an awesome race. It's on the Western States trails, the cool trails, all the area that I really love and resonate with. Was going to be a training run for me. So basically, it was me showing up, seeing if I could up the ante and go past the 50-mile mark. Nice and steady, nice and slow, really not knowing, just huge learning curve there. And my goal was to hit mile 75. And I had told a friend that was running with me from Oregon, my one crew member, Catherine, who's a rock star, that I was going to be there, and that was my goal. And at 75, I was going to lay down and fall asleep because that was going to already be epic for me. And that was my goal. So that's what I had in my head.
You got to mile 75.
I did.
You still got another marathon looking
Just a marathon.
to go. Just a marathon.
Yeah, right.
Which, of course, you know a lot about, slow marathon. We'll talk about that in a second, too. Make sure
Yes.
people are signing up for next year because
Yeah,
that thing
we're killing that
continues
thing.
to grow.
Yeah.
But, now you got another marathon. I mean, where did the mind shift happen that
Yeah.
you decide not to lay down
Right.
and go to sleep
Exactly.
and go, yeah, take on another 25?
So some of the fun things that happen over 100 miles, a lot can happen, right? You're running, these are trails. These are trails, single-track trails through the mountains, so you have to navigate your way. I mean, there are some mile markers. There are little ribbons in the trees every half a mile. I mean, this is really some crazy stuff going on out there. There was only 100 people in the entire race over the course of 100 miles, so at times you didn't see people for 3 and 4 hours.
Anybody else from Slow?
Slowtown. Nobody from Slowtown except for me there. Yeah.
They cap that race at 100, or it just happens to be a smaller?
Hundreds are small races generally, except for like a Western States, big boys like that. But yeah, there's not a lot of people that want to sign up to run 100 miles.
Yeah.
So in the course of that, started at 5 a.m. in the pitch dark, ran out of there, and then quickly the pack spread out as they do. And the weather was great. I mean, I could not have asked for better weather along the way. But over the course of all that, you've got to plan your food. I have a lot of food allergies, so I have to carry my own food, my pack. My crew member, had food for me about every 4 hours or so, 3 to 4 hours at different checkpoints. You change your clothes, you go through medical checks. There's a lot of different things that happen. So you have good times and you have bad times. You just keep chipping away. But to be honest, because I had no pressure on myself and I really didn't know what to expect, I had an incredibly open mind. So what worked for me was my mindset. Without a doubt, the physical body was 50% of the calculation and the other 50% was my mind. So at one point, at mile 67, I thought my race was actually over and I wasn't even going to achieve my goal that day because I had been puking for a couple hours. And I came into an aid station where my crew member was, and a friend of mine from Oregon was running, and he said, you need to lay down. You need to lay down and get your feet up and just lay there for 20 minutes. Well, that sounds ridiculous in the middle of the night in the pitch dark when it's freezing cold out, but that's exactly what I did. So this crew member of mine, Catherine, put me in a sleeping bag, zipped me all the way up, and I literally was laying on the ground for 15 minutes, like in a cocoon, thinking my day was over, and I was ready to pack it in, and I was accepting of that. But I really could not believe it. Within 10 to 15 minutes, I felt a lot better. I got up, I changed my clothes from head to toe. Everything came off. Everything fresh went on. Drank chicken broth, and I literally ran out of there feeling better than I'd felt, in 10 hours of running. And I felt great. So I ran strong all the way to my next checkpoint, which would have been that 75, and it was actually mile 78, where I was expected to call it a day. But I felt so damn good. I left my running partner from Oregon behind, ran back to the finish line, believe it or not, which is where we had to meet the next checkpoint and then go back out for the last 22 miles of the race. I felt amazing. I really couldn't believe how good I felt. So I told this crew member, Catherine of mine, you want to go out? I'm going back out. I'm going to finish this 100 miles. I might not do it in the time cutoffs. I might not do it in, with the medal and the whole shebang, because if I can't meet that expectation, I'm totally okay with that. But I'm going to run 100 miles today. And she's like, hell yeah. Well, that was 3:45 in the morning, right? So off we go, and we got it done. I mean, it really was quite amazing. I just still am in shock, to be honest, because it was so powerful to experience that moment and that experience. And there were definitely times where my body and my mind were separated. My feet were destroyed. If you've seen my Facebook post, my feet were just hellacious. I had a sprained ankle. So there was some crazy stuff going on, without a doubt, but you work through it. And once I just set my mind to the fact I was going to finish 100, even if it wasn't within the cutoff, I mean, I was so liberated by that, frankly. It just pushed me further. It just drove me further. It was awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, because you went in pretty pretty
Undertrained.
loose. Yeah,
Yeah.
undertrained, but just
Relaxed,
mentally
very
loose.
relaxed. Yeah,
So
no pressure.
when do you start looking at the time? I mean, are you paying? I mean, obviously, you're seeing the day change.
Yeah. You start in the dark, and then it's light, and then you're running, and now it's dark again.
Yeah, so I mean, you get a sense of where
and
you
by the
are.
way,
But
now here the sun is coming up.
yeah,
Second
when
day.
are you looking at the time?
Yeah.
And going, geez, I wonder how fast I've been going.
Well, a
for
little
this whole
bit
thing.
of the hilarity there was my buddy from Oregon, who I had the honor and privilege of pacing at Western States for his finish, was running with me, had come, so we separated along the way, but we had enough exchange, and he kept trying to get me to ride the clock. You gotta do this. You gotta get this done. You gotta, pick it up. You gotta slow down. All this stuff. First, I'm running too fast, he tells me. Then I'm running too slow. Well, I told him basically to bugger off because I had to run what felt good for me, and because I'd never done this before, I didn't know what that was. Yeah. But I needed to learn that. So he kept trying to get me to acknowledge the clock and the Garmin and all the things we had, and I said, I don't care. Yeah. I'm not looking at it. I'm going totally based on how I feel. I can only do what I can do, and that's the boundary I'm going to play with today. You need to take care of your own stuff. So once I allowed myself that freedom to just basically go through the process, I ran faster. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I was just tapped in. It's that zone, it's that place that we all know and love if we're an endurance addict, It's that place.
Totally. Talking with Samantha Pruitt here on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. You're listening to Living the Run. You're right on to something that I think oftentimes we get overtaxed in our mind with numbers.
Yes.
We're
Garmin
looking
obsessed.
at watches. We're looking at our phones. What's the next app? How did it look compared to the next? And we're not really feeling, perceiving, using our own sensory systems to understand what we can perform.
And living in that moment, right? Because I'm talking about a 30-hour, 100-mile race, the moment-to-moment thing. I mean, you better be present in what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to face plant, and it's going to get really ugly. But also enjoy the journey. I mean, I'm out there in nature. It's incredibly beautiful. I mean, I saw things along the way that were just, amazing, and it kept feeding me.
Yeah,
and
you can't
I allowed myself to be open to that,
You can't be looking at a clock. Oh, shoot, that mile was only 15 minutes. This
No.
one was 22 minutes. Come on, it's so distracting.
And in a trail race with terrain, I mean, it was about 13,000 feet of climbing, right? I mean, you cannot dictate the terrain, so you have to just go with it.
For those people that were racing it, would the
Yeah.
winner do that in?
Yeah, the winner of that race was, let me see, I'm trying to remember now. It was pretty ridiculous. 12 hours.
Come on.
No.
12 hours?
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah, there are people that can just bust chops on 100-milers, which just sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
That's
what is
running
wrong
like-
with those people?
yeah.
Are they robots?
That's like 4 back-to-back marathons at like 3-hour clips.
Yes. Over the mountains.
With 13,000
13,000 feet of climbing.
Come on.
Single track, navigating your way in the dark. Lots of people got lost. That was always fun to see what was going on out there. But, it's part of the experience.
Gosh, crazy. Hey, let's come back after the break. I
Commercial.
want to talk a little slow marathon and other things. Guys, Samantha Pruitt, good stuff. It's great to have you back in the studio.
Thanks.
More from Living the Run next.
You're listening to Living the Ride on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, Slow Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at Slow Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, Slow Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Hey everyone, Eric Fiallo here from LeftLaneSports.com. Are you tired of paying full retail on your favorite outdoor and endurance brands? Well, whether you run, bike, swim, hike, climb, or surf, LeftLaneSports.com has got you covered. Save 50 to 70% off retail every day on brands like Under Armour, Asics, New Balance, Timex, Hurley, Patagonia, and more. Visit LeftLaneSports.com and sign up for a free membership. Plus, save on shipping by picking up your order at our headquarters in San Luis Obispo. LeftLaneSports.com. Gear you need, prices you want, service you deserve.
This is Scott from Arts Cyclery. This year, Arts has the largest selection of kids' bikes on the Central Coast. Let us take the stress out of your holidays by offering a layaway and a convenient purchase bike storage solution where we store the bike until Santa picks it up for the big day. Grown-ups, we have an awesome selection of bikes and accessories for you too. Come in now until December 24th and spin the wheel of deals and take up to 30% off your purchase. Huge selection, friendly staff, and low prices at Arts Cyclery, 181 Suburban Road, San Luis Obispo.
Hey everybody, Tara Kulikoff, San Luis Obispo resident, here to speak on behalf of Gardens by Gabriel and my experience. As a landscaper in the county, they are hands down my top pick. They are honest, knowledgeable, passionate, and detail-oriented. The owner, Gabriel Frank, is a true botanical zealot who adds his own creative ideas while respecting my needs and working with the ecosystem. His crew is phenomenal. They are so helpful and so hardworking. My front yard is absolutely perfect. So dig them at gardensbygabriel.com.
We're back with Living the Run.
Hey, this segment brought to you by House Swayze and Team Swayze. Find them at teamswayze.com, whether it's your first home, dream home, or investment property. Call them at 805-781-3750. Love House Swayze. This guy lives the run. He is always on the move. He does get his blood to boil. I got to give the props to my friend Matt Smith. He was out there with me today. We go out every Wednesday. Usually a group of us, only two of us out there today, and he kicked my butt. But
good. You deserved it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's so great about it is that it does, and we were talking about this at the break, is it gets you to push your limits. When you get out there with people that you have to kind of trail behind, and you know they're working hard, but you have to work real hard and just not get smoked.
Yep.
It's fantastic. And you toe the line a little bit of that suffering, as we were saying.
Yeah.
But it allows you to know what you're made of, and now you get into what you got into, and you can throw up and be not that big a deal. I can still recover.
The stuff that unravels out there, and you move on. But
and you move on.
You have to be prepared for that mentally. And how are you going to handle that,
Absolutely. I love the bone broth or the chicken broth that you talked about using.
Chicken broth, yeah.
I've been doing bone broth for a long time.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic.
Yeah, especially in the middle of the night when it's bloody cold. You can't put anything else down.
No.
It takes an army to do these things. You got to have an amazing crew and support to do these ultra endurance events. It just takes so many people. It takes a village.
Yeah, and it takes as we were talking about, just mentally kind of being aware and knowing yourself. You have to do that with your food sources too, and you have to play with different things.
Yes.
Bone broth or chicken broth, some of these things, organic, of course, is one of those ones that I think a lot of people have not tried. But once they try it, man, they just reap the benefits tremendously from this stuff. And fantastic little product. Hey, let's talk slow marathon.
Slow Marathon, raceslow.com, slowmarathon.com. So it's April 27th this year, and we're blowing it up. We're looking for about 6,000 athletes this coming year. There is now prize money on the table.
Money.
Yeah, Left Lane Sports, our presenting sponsor, is ponying up some prize money for the winners, top winners of the full and half, male and female. So
love that. Left Lane Sports. These guys, gear you need, prices you want, services you deserve.
Bingo.
I don't know why people don't go to Left Lane Sports. I mean, and people are because they've got tons of customers, but a lot of people haven't heard of them. I'm going, guys.
Right.
They sell
sweet deals.
Yeah, you want sweet deals on the best products?
You want
all
to pay
your top
full
name
retail?
Products.
Don't go there.
Yeah, don't go there. Yeah. You want 60, 70% off on some of the greatest products around?
Yeah.
Go there.
Exactly.
LeftLaneSports.com. Those guys are great. So prize money. What was it? 6,000. How many people were in it last year?
4,800.
4,800. So just a steady increase on the run.
We're very proud. We have an amazing team that we've built now of staff and volunteers. We have a volunteer army of 900. I mean, really, it's really cool, the stuff that's going on related to this race. The team program, the team initiative is exploded. We had over 700 people on teams last year. We're expecting 1,500 people on teams. Form yours now online. There's a huge program with all these benefits that are team specific. and it's just good stuff.
Yeah, it's an awesome race.
Everybody needs something to focus on for a goal. You know, you can walk it, you can run it, you can do the 5K, whatever you need to do, but get off the couch. That's my thing.
Get off the couch. How about just come out and cheer too? You know,
Absolutely.
More of that. I think that each year we'll see a greater fan spectrum
For
there,
sure.
but I want to see it deep. You know,
Yeah.
I want to see rows and rows of people out there.
Yes.
And, you know, walk to a corner, you know, downtown,
Yeah.
walk to some place. So if you don't want to race, it's okay. Come out and support those that
Exactly.
are racing. And
Crazy race signs. We love that. Like
Yeah,
we go
crazy
to
race
we
signs.
take pictures that make up funny
Yeah.
sayings, put it on a sign, stand out there for an hour. I mean, you'll get 100 people smiling at you. You know, I mean, that's rewarding.
Who were those guys with the PBR? They had a ice chest full of PBR. You know, like guys, it was unbelievable. You know, guys like, you want beer? I'm like, no, I don't want beer. I want some water. And then I was like, but I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
Guys holding beer over there in one of the corners, but
Yeah.
it got a good laugh. You know, it gives a good
Yes.
smile. And as you know, sometimes just that little bit of relief
Absolutely.
mentally just
Yeah.
keeps you propelling along on that race. Talk real quick about Arizona Ironman.
Right. So I was at that last weekend. I have done that race once. I love the desert. And I was there. I had some athletes from the Central Coast Triathlon Club doing that race, and one in particular that I had coached doing her first race, Kimberly. And she kicked its butt and took its name. I mean, it was so fun to watch and be there and be part of that. And all of our athletes did exceptionally well. There was quite a few people from the San Luis Obispo area at that race. So I'm re-inspired to do Ironman, but not 2014, 2015.
2015
Right,
on the horizon for you.
2014, I've got something else crazy in mind. I want to do my first stage race. Now that I know I can do 100, and I will do another 100 2014, but I want to do a stage race. So I'm going to do something what's called the Desert Rats. And you basically run from Colorado to Utah over the course of 6 days. It's 150 miles, and we get ourselves through the desert in the middle of summer. It's in June. Of course it's in June.
Of course it's in June.
Why would we do it in the winter? That would be outrageous. So I'm really pumped about that. It's a very small race. They only accept 50 athletes, and I'm already in because
Cool.
Reed, the race director, has confirmed that. So I'm very excited.
Good stuff. Hey, real quick, short show again tonight, guys. Stay tuned for Cal Poly basketball. After that, CJ Silas got Rodney Pete coming on her show, and then the Slow Late Show going on probably sometime around 10:30. Real quick, tips and takeaways from tonight's show, something we can leave the listeners with going into Thanksgiving week next week, something they can take away, maybe add to their life, and make some better health decisions.
Wow, that's hard to put into one or two tips.
Something simple. Bone broth.
The reality,
try bone broth.
something simple in my world is just move your body. That's my thing. Okay, just move your body. Whatever you love to do, whatever turns you on, it doesn't have to be a sport. I don't care if they're dancing, walking the dog, whatever. Move your body, and it will change. You will feel better, and the world will be a happier place. And we'll want to actually share that world with you. So move your body, please.
No question. I would say you know what your T-shirt says. On your
Every
blog
day
picture.
is training day.
Every day.
What are you
is
training for?
Day. Life. That's it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And the reality is that people arguing in this healthcare system and all this insurance and all this kind of nonsense. Your insurance doesn't make you healthy. Obamacare doesn't make you healthy.
Your
None of it
doctors
does.
are not responsible for your body.
No,
You are.
your lifestyle
Yeah.
is what it does. And it starts with movement. I always ask people, it's like you see all these diseases that are out there and the disease conditions you hear about. Name one that doesn't benefit from movement.
Right.
They all benefit from
Exactly.
movement. If we just move a little bit more, and we don't have to compete. It's fun on this show to talk about, these
Yeah,
crazy
you don't have
races.
to be a super jock. Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
nobody's asking you to do that. People are asking you to get your blood to boil every day.
Right.
And if that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour, it doesn't matter. But we have to take that time. Health is better,
Well,
Hard-
check out my blog, and you'll see I was a couch potato, 65 pounds overweight, train wreck. So, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because I was a misery pot.
And you just finished 100 miles.
And I did. I just ran 100 miles. Hallelujah.
I don't know. You went from kind of, I look at it as kind of mentally insane, just sitting around, being a couch potato. But then
yeah.
you're on the other spectrum, maybe a little bit of mentally.
What are you trying to say?
Do we still have mental balance? Going.
Yeah, we have balance. All right, believe me, we have
Absolutely, you have balance. It's and you're inspiring a ton of people to get off the
Thanks.
couch.
I
And
love
it's,
what I do. I really, I just can hardly stand it.
Yeah,
Between
everybody
slow
can tell.
marathon and race directing and being part of the ultra world, I really love it. It's good stuff.
Oh man,
I'm not going back to the couch.
not going back to the
Not
couch.
gonna happen.
To the couch, just is no good.
No.
Yeah, we were talking about it actually. I think this show, it's kind of interesting. We heard that we're supposed to be off at 6:45. But
Oh, no one's cutting us off?
I tell you what, we're not being cut off, and
we could go on all night.
we could go on all night. And I'll say this real quick. We were talking with somebody about some of the differences between trans fats, and they're talking about banning trans fats, right? And something came up in the topic is that, hey, look, we shouldn't get the government involved so much. What we need to do is more education. And the thing I thought was very interesting is who do you want to educate you?
Wow,
and
that's a lot of power.
It's a lot of power. And when we start to look at who's educating us in this country, the education's coming from dairy industry.
Right.
Education's coming from pharmaceutical industry. Education is coming from people who are banking on getting more dollars.
Exactly.
Not you getting healthier.
Right. They have a vested interest actually in you not being so healthy.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Probably not the guys you want on your team.
Yeah. So it's so old hearing it called healthcare. It's sick care.
Yeah.
Of course it's sick care.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't sick care, people would be making improvements. We see exactly the opposite. Heart disease worse. Where's it the worst? It's getting worse in women.
Yes.
Worse and worse.
Which is outrageous.
It's outrageous.
Well, because the women are the mothers and the wives and the caretakers and all these things. And if they're not healthy, the entire family is a reflection of that, And I can't tell you how amazing. I have this totally unbelievable group of women that I associate with and train with and am connected to, and how they have such an impact on their community, on their family, on their work life, on every male species around them, because they're role models. It's very powerful.
It's very powerful. And so you're hitting that right on. You can't have a mom that is sick at an early age. And we've seen this the whole time. You're seeing joint replacements needed at late 30s, early 40s. Why? Because people are overweight.
Right.
Again, it has nothing to do with the insurance system. It has nothing to do with healthcare.
Yeah.
It has to do with the lifestyle choices that you're
choices.
putting in and around your joints. We could go on and on, but I thought it was an interesting, just kind of question for us to ponder is that who do we want to educate us? And you don't want people who have that conflict of interest where they're trying to make a buck.
Yeah, and really, wouldn't it be fantastic if people went out and self-educated themselves? Just a thought. I mean, we have so many resources now, right? So, I can be a little bit of a wingnut.
Lot.
Yeah. I like to read things and investigate, and but a little bit of that empowerment is healthy.
But that's what you did, right? As
absolutely,
ex-couch potato. You sit there and you got to go, man, I got to find a way to get rid of this weight.
Well, and the Western medical doctors were telling me, hey, this is just going to be your life. We don't
know
what's wrong with you. You're going to be miserable. Yeah, take these drugs. I'm like, what? Do you know how young I am? How could I live like this? I mean, I thought I was going to die. They didn't. Yeah.
The classic cocktail, right? Blood pressure, cholesterol, maybe a little bit, a little antidepressant because we're not feeling too good.
Yeah.
Sitting around.
Add that.
Yeah, probably not sleeping great. So maybe
cocktail.
Yeah, throw a little sleep med with it. And, I always say, you go around the world. I ask people to do this, and this is that whole reading thing, but I ask people, go around the world, look at every continent, and find the people who live the longest with the least disease. And it includes North America. Mm-hmm. None of them have a cocktail of pills.
Right.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
Longest life, least disease, highest quality. Doesn't equal pills. It's the way it goes.
It's inheriting a healthy lifestyle, from their forefathers and their grandparents, parents. Everybody's still role modeling those healthy choices. So there's no other way. That's just the normal way of being,
It's just a normal way of being.
It's just a normal way of life in those countries.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say it starts with the moms. I think it does absolutely starts with the moms, and then you start to look at these.
We have so much power as mothers. I mean, I'm a mother. We have so much power to influence our kids. The coolest thing ever is my son is now running. He's 18 years old, and for the first time in his life, he's actually running. You know how exciting that is for me?
And he's not running because you told him to run. He's running because he sees you run.
Well, and because he wanted to try something new and decided to put on some running shoes and now loves it. And he's training for the San Luis Obispo Half Marathon. Love that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Does he get a discount?
No, full tilt boogie, baby. No deals.
Well, it's a contagious energy that you're putting out there when you're making those massive changes, seeing the successes. And so to me, it's not a surprise at all that he didn't go look for bike shoes, that he looked for running shoes, right?
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
sure.
hey, mom's killing it.
If my
She's
mom
changing her
can
life.
run 100 miles,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, right?
Any chance that you guys might race against each other? Does mom race son?
No. He would kick my butt. Are you kidding me? That would not be good.
He would not kick your butt in 100 miles. You just ran
That
100
is true.
miles.
That is true. I would bury him at that race for sure. He'd be done after 10, and I'd be like, well, I'm just getting warmed up.
I was thinking about you talking 17 minutes till the 30 hours, right? 30-hour mark. Kind of big deal. And you get an award for that? What do they give you for making it under 30 hours?
You know what was incredibly cool? I was the last female finisher, so they really made a big deal out of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could get used to this. Being last, like, this is legit, right? I got extra swag. Yeah, no, I was totally cool with that position.
Well, it was like Karen Adelot. She's coming on in a couple
love
weeks.
Karen. Yeah, she's quite an inspiration.
It's still mind-boggling to me what happened in Kona
Yeah.
with her. I mean, really 30 seconds. I mean, it's
brutal. That's Iron Man.
super cool what they did, though. MC, he's running out there with her down the last mile, and there was something contagious about how much the fans were pulling. And this is why the fans got to come out for slow marathons,
Yes.
is because you're willing these people in.
Exactly.
She ends up 30 seconds past time, yet it's still a glorious experience because of that positive energy that got fed to her.
Right. A cool thing that happened at the 100 I was at, Rio Del Lago, they stopped the clock. So the finishers could finish, and the clock did not keep ticking. So they weren't legitimately finishers. They were DNFs because they didn't make the cutoff. But we all knew they ran 100 miles.
Huh.
So they stopped the clock, which I thought was a really classy thing to do.
That is a classic thing to do.
Yeah.
And something you wouldn't expect. We talked about a little bit on the show, that competition versus cooperation.
Yep.
And it's so easy to get sucked into that competitive mode.
Right.
And to lose that cooperative mode. That we really, as animals, we function in a cooperative mode most of the time.
It's so much more rewarding. I do these workouts at Athlon I was telling you about with Ryan, and I love it. And I'm sure it had a big impact on me being able to run 100 miles. But there's a group of us, and we're all radically different sports, different skills, different everything. And those group workouts are so incredibly rewarding. Talk about raising the bar. I mean, I got to drop the hammer on those boys in there. Show them who's the boss, right?
Absolutely.
And that group environment is so healthy,
Yeah, Ryan Joyner. I mean, he's been on this show a bunch of times, and Ryan, they push the limits over there.
I know. Hey,
Yeah.
man, we got our butts kicked today. Let me tell you.
I
love it though.
He comes after you, which is good stuff. I got Alex in the studio.
Hey, Alex.
Alex, your show's supposed to go tonight.
Yeah.
Slow late show tonight.
Alex, Cal Poly alumni, business major.
Cal Poly
Bam.
alumni, business major, soon to be ex couch potato, I think.
Really? Are you going to run the slow marathon?
Get on it.
Are you going to be on? What team's it going to be on? Is it going to be on slow?
Is other teams?
Yeah, there's I don't know what team he's going to be on. We may have to make a Living the Run team.
Whoa!
Well, he could pull on the slow wellness team. We might go slow wellness / Living the Run team. But you're looking to get fit.
Yeah.
You're looking to put the mileage on.
Yeah, I love running. I just also love eating bad things too. So that's the